So I'm from Colombia. We worked at National University, branch Medellin, the second main city in our country. I'm a student of forestry engineering, and my professor is Juan Alonso, and Juan Carlos, and Alexandra Montoya.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Right now I am in Colombia.
Yes.
Okay. Preliminary prospective analysis of the legal timber industry in Antioquia, Colombia. Let's talk a little bit about the context. So I don't know what happened with my.
Are you fine with your presentation? Okay. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Colombia signed the peace agreement 5 years ago and is currently recovering for the COVID-19 pandemic. It is located in the tropic, which means sunshine all years round, which implies a rapid and constant growth of trees. It also has 14 million hectares of soil with medium and high aptitude, of which only 540,000 hectares are planted with commercial plantation and generates 135,000 direct formal jobs. That is, we are not counting the indirect jobs that the forestry business generates. Additionally, forestry plantation protects the soil from erosion, generate organic layer on soils, avoid livestock, and all that this implies in terms of greenhouse gases. And for me, of the most important reason is that it reduces pressure of natural tropical forest and deforestation, in fact. In other words, we have all of the conditions to develop timber industry. So now you may wonder why the Department of Antioquia. The answer is because the Department of Antioquia has the largest area commercial forest plantation in the country, almost 22%. And we want to start this preliminary prospective analysis of legal timber in this department. In fact, we came from here. It is important to emphasize that this is the framework for legal timber because there is a large market for stolen timber extracted from natural forest, which is beyond the scope of this document and this work. Okay, now in this preliminary study, we set the objective to develop a preliminary prospective study of the legal timber industry in Antioquia. Okay, an analysis of legal timber industry in Antioquia and of the system was carried out through the diagnosis and a study for the key variables through a structural analysis and propose some scenarios. Okay, the process was carried out in 3 stages. The first stage was definition of variables. Sorry. The second stage was structural analysis with the Mi'kmaq matrix. In the third stage, we were designing the scenarios. Okay, the first stage, definition of variables. The strategic variables that would allow a complete system diagnosis were identified after analyzing the available literature. They were then submitted of criteria of three group of experts by the Delphi technique who complement and validate them. Okay. 13 variables were identified, almost all of which speak either of resource management or the production model, or the absence of management towards the industry's competitiveness. Okay, the second stage is structural analysis. This method makes it possible to describe a system through a matrix that interrelates its component element. As a result of this exercise, the variables are classified into influential and dependent variables, and those variables that are fundamental for the future of the process. Once the 13 variables were selected and defined, they were prioritized by means of the cross impact and matrix revision applied for a classification. It is Micmac. We use Micmac software, the version 612. And as we could see, in the direct influence gap, we can see there are 6 causes: track, develop, supply of trained professional, cost of supplies and tools, available of material, of plant material, and deficits of regional technical information. It is also note that the central problem is the cost of the production and illegal timber. And the effects of the market that are not well defined, and timber price, and the timber prices are variables. Sorry. The last, and we could see strongest influence between all of the variables. Okay, the last stage, the scenarios were designed using the cross scenario technique proposed by Schwartz. As a result, we need to think about 30 years into the future. So we propose 3 scenarios. The first one is a ideal scenario. The timber industry has a definite positioning in relation to its competitive force and has managed to develop and implement a production model that allows it to strategically keep effectiveness in the performance of this operation. The timber industry is internationally competitive, with a focus on definition in various types of products, several types of products, and has managed to attack buyers with its value proposition, both domestically and internationally. The country has developed a legal timber market in which companies and producers participate. Controls and incentives have been implemented to close the door to illegal production offers, is our main problem here. And timber has been taken as a value and a preset material, around which a supply system has been organized that favors the development of the legal and formal business. Okay, the second one is the scenario intermediate. The timber industry is more competitive with a focus on differentiation in various types of products and has managed to attack buyers for its value proposition, both domestically and internationally. The country has developed a timber market, mostly legal, in which companies and producers participate. Control and incentives have been implementation to close the door and with the illegal wood, which a supply system has been organized in favor to develop formal business model, which make it more profitable, traceable, and sustainable. Nevertheless, producers have not been able to make an effective use of natural capital, fixed asset, and human talent, seeking to optimize production costs and allowing the emergence of innovation in the industry towards to value proposal of high content, leaving the producers to obtain certain level of benefits without having a real concern for cost or process engineering, or for the development of more effective strategic model that allow anticipating and generating a greater presence in the markets, national and international. It is profitable model with short-term vision based on greater social appreciation of the high value of timber and natural resource. Producers are only organized for marketing purpose, but in terms of the production, the link for value creation are too limited. The third one is one scenario, intermediate also. It's favorable for the use of resource, but disarticulating an incomplete industry. In this scenario, some very few companies and producer organizations have configured a strategic model of production, making after-sales service is not common in our country, in which they have managed to develop proposals for high value creation through effective combination for the use of their infrastructure, human talent management, technological development, and supply management. And on the other hand, they have to develop components of Maslow decision pyramid in products offering, from the basic products, sustainable climate solution, soil development, value add-on, production of forestry models, and offering different plant materials together with relevant process of engineering and optimization implementation, and that have been brought from international experience, which have led some of these companies or propose brought from international experience, for example, which have led some of these companies propose of a strategic production model with low cost. There is no competitive national industry that articulates the producers, and there is no more generalized competitive effective of positioning national wood in the markets. The last one is the most negative scenario. Could be similar to the current situation, disarticulation and competitive industry and passive use of resource. Partly because almost all the variables in the structural analysis seem to be in the strategic zone, and also because it's currently necessary to advance efforts into areas proposed a more competitive, differential and articulation industry. On the one hand,
sorry, I
yes.
think you passed your time, so please just be fastly or go to conclusion of your study.
Okay. Through this preliminary analysis, we can conclude that the timber industry in the Department of Antioquia to 2030 has to develop markets and products to become relevant in territories. Is still a very incipient industry. It gives good profits so much so that it does not generate losses even when there are thieves. Need closer control. The search for competitiveness, it was a few actors and many losses, robberies. There are none. It should also standardize cutting methods, products, and forestry silviculture techniques. So thanks for your time.